Online math tutorials with Smart Tuition.
Guys, in this video here, we're going to attempt to answer questions on quadratic equations. Now, for me, quadratic equations are the most important, or is the most important topic in your GCSE maths paper. If you're able to master the quadratic equation, it opens the door for you to be able to answer much more advanced algebra questions. For example, quadratic simultaneous equations, quadratic inequalities, and algebraic fractions as well. So this is one topic that you need to make sure you practice. And if you're doing the higher paper, you need to make sure that you really build your confidence with this and are able to apply it to a whole range of different questions. And if you do, then you're hopefully able to work your way towards a grade 7 and above. Okay, so there are different types of quadratic equations. I'm not going to be doing the grade 5 examples. Rather, I'm going to do the example where you have a coefficient in front of the x squared. And let's just get underway. So before we start anything, guys, you need to be familiar with the layout of a quadratic equation, which is the formula of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, this equation over here, guys, is a layout for a quadratic, which basically emphasizes that we need to have something squared followed by an x followed by a number, and all of that being equal to 0. So when trying to factorize, guys, make sure that your layout looks something like this, and I'll explain this to you guys later on exactly how to go about doing that. Just recognize the following, people. Quadratic equations are where you have a curve, and that curve comes in contact with the x-axis in two places. Therefore, your final answer should always look something like x equals x equals. Okay, you always end up with two solutions of x, guys, as a final answer. Okay, let's go straight on to trying to practice this question here. That is 3x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Now, earlier I just emphasized to you guys the layout for the quadratic, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. As I can see with this example over here, I have something squared followed by an x followed by a number, all being equal to 0. Now, there are different ways of doing this question here, guys. I like to use what's often referred to as the AC method. The AC method is where, I mean, you can argue that it's slightly more longer, but what you'll find is that most maths teachers, they probably use this method here. And it's the method that I teach the students who come to my tuition center. Okay, so what I like to do is start off by multiplying the 3, which is my A, because remember we've got A, B, and C. The 3 multiplies by minus 5. Now 3 times minus 5, right, is equal to minus 15. Now what we're going to do is find two numbers that multiply to minus 15, but them same two numbers have to add to minus 2. Okay, so two numbers that multiply to minus 15 but add to minus 2. Those two numbers are negative 5 and positive 3. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out this equation again, but instead of having minus 2x, I'm going to put in minus 5 and 3. So that's 3x squared minus 5x plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so essentially what I've done here, guys, is just written out the equation again, replaced the minus 2x with minus 5x and 3x, which were the two numbers that we found earlier. Okay, now what I like to do is separate these out and now begin factorizing each of these individually. If I factorize the first one here, that leaves me with x bracket 3x minus 5. Remember, when factorizing, you find common numbers and letters. The only common thing that's shared between the 3x squared and minus 5x is the x. I now factorize this part over here. They share a common factor only of 1. Something has to go outside the bracket, so I put a 1 there outside of the bracket. Okay, now I've got two brackets here which are the same. That's really important, guys. Those two brackets, they must be the same. If they're not the same, likely you've made a mistake, guys. You need to go back and correct your work, okay? But these two brackets here, they must be the same. What I now do is cross out one of the brackets, bring down the other bracket, and the two numbers which are outside of the bracket, they are the x and the 1. They go into their own bracket. Okay, now that would be the final answer if my equation here was not equal to 0. Okay, in this example here, all you would need to do is factorize the equation. Okay, but we're not factorizing, rather we are solving, okay, which means I need to work out what the actual value of the x is. So the 3x minus 5, what I need to do is make that equal to 0, and the x plus 1 is also equal to 0. So the 3x minus 5 plus 5 on both sides and divided by 3. And one solution of x, guys, is 5 over 3. Same on this side over here, just minus 1 on both sides. And my two solutions here, guys, are 5 over 3 and negative 1. Okay, let's go into another example now. This time round, our equation will be, just get rid of all of this, 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, now ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is the layout for the quadratic. I can see that I've got something squared followed by an x followed by a number. That's all equal to 0, so I can begin to answer the question. Okay, 2 times minus 5 is minus 10. So I multiply the a and c by each other. And now what I need is two numbers that multiply to minus 10 but add to minus 3. Those two numbers are negative 5 and positive 2. I'm now going to write out the equation again, but I'm going to replace the minus 3x with minus 5x plus 2x. And we bring down the rest of the equation, guys. Okay, so bring down the 2x squared and bring down the minus 5 equals 0. Now, just like before, we're going to separate it out and we're going to factorize. When factorizing, you find common numbers and common letters. There's a common factor here of x, and there's only a common factor of 1. Now, as you can see, as I stressed to you guys earlier, these two brackets must be the same. They're the same for me, so I can just cross one out and bring the other one down. And the two numbers outside of the bracket go into their own bracket. And that there, guys, must all be equal to 0. So take the first equation over here and plus 5 on both sides, and then divide it by 2, and one solution of x is 5 over 2. Same on this side over here, just minus 1 on both sides. And the second solution is minus 1. So there we have it, guys. We've got two solutions of x. And the next stage to learn the quadratic equation, guys, is for you to practice what's often referred to as the quadratic formula. That's something which you'll find in another video of mine. But I hope this makes sense, guys. Lots of practice. And what I find over the years having taught this topic is people really struggle with this stage over here, trying to find those two numbers that multiply and add. With practice, that gets a lot easier. Okay, so just keep going over that. And I'm sure with time, this will become a lot more easier. Okay, so I hope that helps, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.